Hey guys, welcome back to our repair guys. In today's video guys, we'll go ahead and show you how to remove or replace the Cvvt gears on Hyundai Elantra guys, generation 2010 up. If you have the 1.8 or 2.0 and new engine guys, this is the procedure for you. So we just took it apart to show you okay what we'll be doing here, and stay with us. We'll go ahead and cover the whole procedure, everything from the very beginning. Now you can see this is the intake Cvvt gear, this is the exhaust one, and how you know that? Pretty simple, you know, this is on the intake side, this is on the exhaust side. So we'll go ahead and show you how to replace one now. We'll have more than 200 videos guys taking the whole car apart, so if you need anything, please subscribe, drop a comment, we'll try to make a video. So give a like and let's go ahead and start on this one now. So we have the car jacked up in the air, the front end, you can see both sides on jack stands. Never ever rely on the jack itself guys, always use jack stands for safety. And this is your oil pan, okay, the black thing there. So let's go ahead and show you how to remove it now. So the first step will be to drain the oil out of the oil pan, so that way we don't make a mess when we remove it. Even though we will drain the oil, get a cardboard or something like that, because it will keep dripping oil once you remove the oil pan. So 17mm socket, and we'll remove the oil plug now. After that we will let it drain for a few minutes, and once it's empty we'll come back to it. Okay, we're ready to install the drain plug now. We'll just get it tight now so we don't leave it for later. Okay, perfect. So next we'll need a 10mm socket, and we'll be removing that plastic there, otherwise we will not be able to remove the oil pan. There is two bolts on the side. Okay, and it came out of there. Next you can see that plastic will need to be removed because there is bolts underneath it. So we'll be using the same 10mm, well 12mm now. Okay. So 14mm socket, we'll remove that plate right there that connects to the bell housing. Okay, like that. So you can see all these bolts there with a 10mm socket. We'll go ahead and start removing them now. Okay. And you have to be careful not to drop on you towards the end, not to leak oil on you, wear glasses, eye protection. That impact is pretty handy, it saves you so much time. Now the oil pan is stuck, it has silicone. I don't think it has a gasket, it's just a silicone. And we'll need to pry it a little bit with a flathead screwdriver, but you have to be careful not to bend anything at all. So you need to push a little bit more up, don't go down because you bend the oil pan. Okay, let's see if it's going to get loose. Okay. You have some oil in it again. You can see how stuck it is. All the silicone will need to be cleaned as well. So you can see our pan is out of the way now. All that will need to be cleaned really good to make sure you don't have any silicone left when you're ready to install the oil pan later. And also you need to clean the top surface of the pan here, not to be greasy at all. And you have to apply the silicone and just put it and install it on the car. What you need to do now, guys, sometimes, okay, you have to turn the impact to get the bolt tight at first, okay, and hit it for about 5 seconds. After that, turn it to get loose. That way it will come off easier sometimes. If it doesn't come off all of a sudden, trying to get it loose, try this. And we'll go back like counterclockwise now to try to get the bolt loose. Okay, and you can see with just a little bit of air, okay, that crankshaft pulley bolt came out. Okay, now you can grab it. It's a keyed crankshaft pulley, so it goes only one certain way, okay, and we pulled it out just like that. So the next, what we're going to do next, we'll remove the intake. Okay, you do not have to do that for that work, but we'll be removing the cylinder head because we have to do some internal work as well. So we'll remove the intake, but for that thing, if you see the intake missing, okay, that's why it's missing, but you do not have to do that. So after that, guys, okay, you can see the intake is out of the way, so we can show you a little bit better how to remove the alternator too. That bolt right here will need to be loose. On the side right here with the 12mm you have another bolt that you need to get loose, and after that you get that bolt loose. This is the manual tensioner and the belt will come off. We have the video on the channel if you want to see how to remove the belt. Most of you will know, so we didn't include it in this one, we already did it earlier. And you have to make sure your battery is disconnected before you proceed removing the alternator, because otherwise you can catch your car on fire or burn the car computer. Now that 12mm bolt on the side for the tensioner will need to be removed, that way we can remove the alternator. Okay, it came out. Now we need to disconnect the wires. This one you press in and pull it out. Okay, it came loose. Now this is a nut there with 12 millimeter. You need to open the cap and remove the nut. After that, we need to disconnect the wire that's holding there, and we can pull it out. Okay, just like that. So next we'll need to support the engine from the bottom so we can raise it a little bit and disconnect the engine mount. That way we can remove the pulley for the water pump and we start removing the side cover. Okay, so we have the wood box there so we don't damage anything underneath, and we barely supported it and jacked it only like half an inch to an inch up. That way it will not have any pressure on the mount. 17 millimeter. Okay, we'll remove the bolt next. Okay, now we have to be very careful on the last nut, because if it starts dropping we have to raise it up a little bit. Okay, and we can still raise it just a little bit because it caught in the thread there. Next, 14 millimeter socket, and we'll remove those bolts. Now we will remove these bolts on the water pump pulley with a 10 millimeter socket. And just a quick tip before we start the work: when you still have the belt on, okay, you can go ahead and break them loose, because the belt will prevent the pulley from turning. Ours are already loose, so we'll just go ahead and remove them now one by one. Okay, last bolt now, and we can pull the pulley out. Okay, just like that. This ground wire will need to be removed and later installed. Do not forget it, because if you do, your engine might not work. So now we need to remove that bolt with a 14 millimeter. Here, I think this one is just holding the hook, so it might not be Yep, it's not holding there, but it's in the way, so that way we can remove these two bolts, and we'll need to start removing all the bolts now that hold the side timing cover towards the cylinder head and the engine block. So that will be quite a bit of bolts removing now, guys. We'll start from this side and go all the way down, around, and come back. So you can see those are with 12 now. And usually once you break those loose, they go pretty easy. Most of them will go by hand. Okay, right there. Let me show you what they look like now. You can see it just like that. Okay, this one as well. And after that we have one, looks like this one is with a 14mm. You can see this one was pretty tight. We have the torque specs for that. We have a video for that, guys. Probably we'll share the torque specs for the cylinder head, for the timing cover. We have videos, so you feel free to check them out. Okay, it gets stuck, so with the socket usually they go pretty easy. Okay, longer bolt here. Now we have one a 12, one a 14 right here that we'll remove. And this timing cover has quite a few bolts, so it's important to remember in which order you took them off, so you can install the same bolts at the same place. And while removing the bolts, to explain that silicone later will need to be cleaned, and new silicone will need to be applied here and here once everything's put together. That way the valve cover will seal really good. Now we have the 14mm there. And we don't even need to remove, you can see we don't even need to remove the water pump for that. We can reach all the bolts that way. So we will have the whole car taken apart on the channel. Again, if you need anything, drop a comment. We'll try to make a video, guys. Might not be the same day, but we'll try to make one for you. Okay, now we have one right there next to the water pump. This one is with a 12, but it's going a little bit not so easy. Okay, this one came out. Now we have one more down there, we got loose. Some of them do not go so easy. I think there is some silicone in the thread too. Just trying to think what it is, but that side cover attaches to the cylinder head and the engine block by silicone. There is no gasket, so I assume silicone can get in one of the bolts and it will not come off so easy. Now we have a 10mm right there in the middle. Okay, perfect. And we'll just take this one off as well. Okay, this is the 10mm there. Now on the bottom I already got those loose, not to waste your time. Okay, you can see this one here. Okay, this one needs a little bit more. Okay, so let's pull it out. Now this one is loose. 4 more here. One towards the back, and the other ones I will not be able to reach. Easy. Okay, one more came out. I'll try to shoot from here now so you can see a little bit better. And we just have a few more now. And we have one more hidden, I think. So it's always important to check, make sure that you do not have any bolts, because if you do and you try to pry it out, you're going to crack, and that thing is expensive. So it's quite a bit of work, but it's doable by yourself. You can save yourself quite a bit of money. You have to make sure that you get everything right. Double, triple check everything when you put it together. So now this is 14 millimeters again. We have two big ones. And after that, this one is with 14 millimeter, and there is one more down there with 12. Okay, right here there is one with 12. That's a little bit hidden there. Okay, this one is coming off now. Now one more 14 on top, and I think we have 3 more or 2 more 12s, we'll see. Well, this one will get a wrench to get it out. All the tools, guys, that we use will be listed in the description of the video below, so feel free to check it out. Okay, this one just came loose. Okay, let's see if it's going to come off. Oh, no, we'll need to move it a little bit. Okay, we'll remove that in the way because we cannot remove the bolt, and we don't want to move the engine too much because it's on the jack. There is a jack stand underneath. Always use a jack stand. Okay, perfect. We have to remember that this one is there. Now pull the bolt out. Okay, this one here, I think it's a 14 as well. That we'll need to remove in a little bit. Okay, now this one right here looks like it's 14 probably. It could be 12, I don't know for sure. Yep, it's a 14. So extension will be needed for this one, or a deep socket. And hopefully that's all of them. We'll check and make sure that we don't have anything else. So we'll pry a little bit there with a screwdriver, okay, and we'll see. All the silicone is pretty tight. All the bolts are out of there, as you can see. So it almost, as you can see, it's almost loose still. holding a little bit here and there. There is a few glides, so we'll need to make sure that it can come out. Okay, now we need to see how we're going to pull it up or down. So eventually it comes out, okay, nothing else holding there. Okay, so you can see timing cover is out. Next thing, we need to remove the timing chain so we can get to the gears and remove them as well. So with 10mm socket, we're going to remove the tensioner. We'll remove the top bolt first and then the bottom, because it's spring loaded and it will kind of shoot out of the way. You see what I'm talking about. Once you get the top one loose, it will turn. Okay, you can see it came a little bit loose. Okay, right there. Timing is completely off now, so later you have to set your timing. Again, all that will be on the channel, guys, if you need help with individual components. Now we can go ahead and remove the timing chain. Okay, timing chain is out of the way now. So now, on the back side right here, you can see there is a spot where you can catch the camshaft with a wrench. Okay, and later, holding here, we'll remove that 14mm so we can remove the gear. So, it's pretty tight. And now we'll pull the gear out. You can go ahead and pull the gear out. Okay, just like that. Now the same procedure for the exhaust one. We will remove it the same way, holding with the wrench there and using a 14mm socket for the bolt. It's very important not to turn the camshaft. Okay, from that point on, I recommend to bring the engine, the pistons in the middle, not a TDC, because when you remove those things, you might put some pressure, move the valves, and the valves can bend if they contact the pistons. So bring the engine when all four pistons are leveled, not a TDC. And this is the exhaust. Okay, you can see the exhaust Cvvt gear. So that's how we remove it. Let's go ahead and install the new one. So now we need to install the new ones. And how we did that, guys, I tried to find the torque specs and I found a few sources, but don't quote me on that. That's what we will do to our engine, but do your research. Okay, according to what I found, both of the bolts need to be between 63.5 and 73.5 Newton meters. So you need to set your torque range somewhere between 63.5 and 73.5. Again, do your research before you do that, because there is very limited information. In our case, we'll set it at 70 Newton meters. So we get the new gears now. Okay, this is the intake. It has one tooth, so you cannot install it the wrong way. It just goes one certain way. Make sure it sinks all the way in. Okay. Like that. Start the bolt. Okay, hold it with the wrench on the back side. The bigger the wrench, the better. I mean, the longer handle. And we have the torque wrench set at 70. now. So that's a click type wrench. Now it's important when you hear that click from the wrench to stop, do not go more, because if you break that bolt you need a new camshaft. So listen now. Okay, that's it. That's up to torque. Okay, the other new gear as well. We got both of them. If you have a problem with one, I would recommend replace both, so you don't have to do that job again, because it's quite a bit of work. So a cheater pipe like that will help, guys, because you will not be able to hold the wrench really good. Okay, right there. I recommend put a new timing chain and a new tensioner, so later you don't have to worry that you have to put a new chain anyways. So if you're doing that job, get new gears, new chain and new tensioner. We have the video how to do the timing from that point on. Check it out, it's on the channel. So if you need anything else, guys, drop a comment. The timing, I know some of you know how to do it. If not, it's on the channel. Super simple. It looks complicated, but it's not. So thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to give a thumb up. Please subscribe and see you next time.